Just let me know when you guys are ready to get the recording and I will share it with you. So you
Thank you.
can go ahead and Sally, Sora, you have it.
Yes, I just hit the record button.
All right, it's 7 p.m.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good
Sora.
evening, all. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Get some more people into the Zoom. Okay, Sora Saleh, you can take it away. Go
All
ahead and start.
right. It is Wednesday or Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Terry Saleh. I am the co-host along with Postel Birch Smith. We are the co-chairs of the WDCAC Financial Fortitude Committee of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And we are welcoming you to our series, Boss Money. Boss Money is a series of educational seminars and workshops that we have for various groups to provide information on financial stewardship, finance, and money management. Tonight's seminar is for young adults, although young adults can be anyone from 18 to 88. But we're going to be focusing on the needs and the certain special situations of young adults for the next hour. And I'm going to turn it over in a minute to Dr. Postel Birch Smith, Dr. Paz, as we know her. Dr. Paz has been a money guru for many years, and she's been my partner in crime as we educate people on wealth building and money management. So I'm looking forward to this discussion tonight. I hope it is a true discussion where people can ask questions and we can keep it interactive. And so, Dr. Paz, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. If you are decent, please feel free to turn on your cameras. I see some pretty faces at the top of my screen. Raynisha and Deja, you all are beautiful. I see my nephew, he was on here. Hey, nephew. Handsome self. So we're gonna go ahead and start. He's on here with all these lovely women. I hope he doesn't get any ideas, but my nephew is good looking. So today we're gonna have our Boss Money series for young adults. This is our chance to really get you all to take a serious look at your money at this young age. When you get to my age, it's a little late, but you can still manage your money. But when you have youth on your side, boy, there's so many things you can do to put yourself ahead by the time you reach my seasoned, lovely age. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So this is the Financial Fortitude Committee. As Saleh said earlier, she and I are the co-hosts, are the co-chairs, the chair and the co-chair of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Financial Fortitude Committee, Washington, D.C. Alumni Chapter. Hey, Fatima. So we're going to start. I see some of my babies on here, so I'm happy. So we're going to start with budgeting. I hope everyone has access to their chat. How many of you at this age how many of you budget? Have you all started budgeting? Has anybody? Just put it in the chat. Let's see. I'm just curious. How many of y'all actually have a budget? I'm seeing some no's occasionally, right? Yes, I try, not consistent. In theory. That's an answer. Thank you. So budgeting is the foundation of financial success. It is your foundation. The reason budgeting is so important is because you have to know how to manage what's coming in so that you can manage what's going out. So there are several types of budgets that that are available to us, and I'm not going to cover all of them, but on your screen you'll see some of the budgeting, the common budgeting methods. You have the 50-30-20 budget, which focuses on needs, wants, and savings, and it also includes debt in that save portion. You have zero base. That's when every dollar has a job. Every dollar has a job. You have the envelope system. That's when you put your money in buckets and you limit your spending to what's in that envelope. And then there's the no budget. You get it, you spend it, you don't know where it is. It's a little reckless. So we're going to focus today on the 50-30-20 and the $0 budgeting. So the 50-30-20 is one of the best ways for you guys to start off budgeting. It's the most simplistic way to budget. 50% of your money goes to your needs. So that includes housing, internet, cell phone, utilities, food. What other things are needs? What are needs? You can put it in chat or you can come off mute and speak up. What's a need? Transportation. Yes.
Listed,
What
it
else?
says food.
Food. So does that include going out to eat? Is that a need?
No, that's not a need. I don't think that's a part.
Not a need, is your basic food needs. So that will be cooking. How much you would spend if you cook your food yourself. And occasionally going out. You can include that too. Groceries, exactly. Groceries. 30% is reserved for wants. So when you make money, it can be fun too. So your wants, you have to fulfill some of your wants. So I'm sure some of you like to look good. So you can put 30% towards clothing, streaming services, gym memberships, hairstyling. What else are some wants that you all have that you just have to have every month? I know I like to get my nails done every now and then. What are some other wants? Eating out, as we said earlier. Thank you, Janine.
Getting my hair done.
Travel. What you say, Justin?
Getting my hair done.
Your hair, exactly. Hairstyling. Hobbies. Yes. What else? Any entertainment, outings with friends and coworkers. So it's anything beyond your basic living needs. Food, shelter. All right. Additionally, there's a 20% reserved for savings and debt. Saleh, can you thank you. So for those of you who go to church, what's the percentage of your income that you should save and tithe? What have you been told all of your life? 10%, good old 10%. So you should be saving at least 10% of your income. So if you make $1,000 a month, what would that mean? $100 goes towards savings. The other 10% will go towards your debt. So we'll move on to the $0. So this is a more boss money way of budgeting. This is where you become the employer of your money. You get to tell your money where it goes, where it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to do it at all times. So each dollar that comes into your account, you are assigning it a job. So that's until you have nothing left. So that's $0 budgeting. The 50-30-20 budgeting method, you can NerdWallet. How many of you have heard of NerdWallet? If you're near a computer or on your phone, you can look up NerdWallet right now. NerdWallet has a budgeting app that's very good with the 50-30-20 method. And for $0, the Every Dollar app is good for that. I personally am in love with NerdWallet. You don't have to pay a membership if you don't want to. There's so much information on savings, investing. It follows your credit score. You can input your budget. You can input your credit information, input your bank statements. NerdWallet is a great website and resource for newbies to financial success. So what are some ways you can save money? For those who, well, you all are young, but young to me is under 35. How many is anybody paying their own cell phone bill just yet? Ooh, Raynisha, tell us about it. How's that been?
It is complicated because T-Mobile charges you to pay for the cell phone and then for the actual usage. So the bill is around $130 a month.
That is significant. So one of the ways you can save money is find a lower price plan. So some advice to you. If you're well, let me say, if you have a responsible person in your life who has a cell phone plan, the more people on a plan, the less the plan is. So if you have that option, you can lower your cell phone bill that way. Additionally, there are some other providers that may not look as, tasty as an AT&T or Verizon, a Boost mobile phone. If it's going to put more money in your pocket and you still have a cell phone, you can still use your same phone, it's something you may want to consider. If you're paying for an internet plan, you can always call your internet provider and get a reduced rate. You may qualify for a promo. You may qualify based on for a lower cost based on where you work. Always ask. Never take the price that's given initially. And that goes for streaming services as well. So, well, I skipped over. I'm going to number 4. Cancel automatic monthly subscriptions. They are a trap. How many people have gotten caught up paying subscriptions that they no longer use? Deja, tell us about it.
Well, when I was maybe in high school, I got a Planet Fitness membership, and I just I stopped going to Planet Fitness after a while, but it's still every single month taking money out of my account. I'm like, I'm still paying for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That $25 could have been going to your savings account, right? So make sure you're checking your statements, your credit card statements or your bank statements, and making sure that you didn't sign up for any subscriptions that are, I forgot what they call it, but ghost withdrawals from your account. So you just forget about it, you don't look at it, and the money's coming out and you're like, you find out months later that you're paying for something that you haven't used sometimes for years. So make sure you pay attention to your statements. Meal plan to take advantage of sales and coupons. So if you work, bring your meals to school, to work. If you go to school, bring your meals to school. Or if you're in an establishment, a restaurant, there are always coupons available. Always. How many people look for coupons before they buy anything? If you don't, you should start looking for coupons. You should not buy anything without picking up your personal computer, which is your cell phone, and looking for a coupon. There is always a coupon available. Number 5, we went over eat at home or pack a lunch. If you're an avid reader, check books out from the library instead of buying them. Set a budget for fun money. So you have to set fun in your budget. Budget should not be something you dread doing. Make sure you set aside money for fun. Partying with your friends, going to get your hair done, whatever it is. Make sure you have fun with the money you earn. Look for opportunities to save on energy bills. I don't know how many of you are paying bills just yet, but you definitely want to look for ways to save. For those of you who are paying electric bills, that type of thing, You may want to get in certain programs. There are certain energy saving programs that you can apply to that will lower your energy bills. Make automatic payments to your savings account. So this is a big one. So if you have money coming in, if you don't see it and it goes to a savings account, it makes saving so much more easy to do it that way versus you seeing, oh, I have, let's just say $500 in my account, and then I have to go over and transfer $50 into my savings account. It takes the motivation away from saving. So do it automatically. And most of the banking apps will allow you to take a percentage of your income, and they will move it over into a savings account for you. So they make it so easy now. It's just totally easy. Find items around your home that you can sell. So I know I have a lot of stuff in here I can sell, honestly. So consignment shops, friends, if you have a friend, I know I have friends who wear the same size shoe as me. I like to give some stuff away, but ask for a couple of dollars if you're gonna do it that way. Now, you young folks, you all like Uber Eats, right? How many days a week do you order from Uber Eats or DoorDash? Be honest. Put in the chat. Let me see. 3 times a week, Rainisha. Who else is going to be honest? Fatima. Girl, I'd rather drive. Oh, Deja, wait a minute. Is that my child? Deja. Okay. Somebody said probably like 3 times. Okay. Well, check this out. Food delivery is the biggest scam ever. It is the biggest scam, especially if you live 4 blocks from the place. What's stopping you from putting on your shoes and walking to get your food? A $9.85 Chick-fil-A pickup order, meaning you go into Chick-fil-A and pick it up. It could cost you upwards of $23 from Grubhub and $19.85 from Postmates. That Chipotle is wrong, but let's look at Dunkin' Donuts. $9.49 at Dunkin' Donuts would cost you $19.12 on Postmates and $16.58 on Uber Eats. Do you understand what you could be doing? Somebody said they do it 3 times a week. So when you multiply $10 difference 3 times a week, that's $120 that you could be saving or investing. So you have to start getting in the mindset of saying, how much is this actually costing me? So $120 times a year is how much? Someone do the math for me really quickly. 1440.
1440, yes.
That's $1,440 that you could have saved. And if you put it in a high yield savings account, you will also receive interest on that money. So your money will actually be working for you versus being thrown out the window. So Carla said, Instacart for me. I hate physically going to the grocery store. Instacart is another one. It's a black hole for it's if you can go to the store, go. So Chantel says, personally, I only eat out once a month. That's fine. That's fine. So if you can limit, I'm not saying cut it out. If you can limit your food delivery orders, instead of doing 3, do 1. And get some exercise and walk to the restaurant. That's a win-win. All right, saving and investing. So there's a difference between saving and investing. So in a savings, funds are easily retrievable, and it's usually for the short term. How many of y'all have an emergency fund or have a fund money account or something like that for rainy days? Anybody have $1,000 in an account somewhere? Just in case? Okay, Fatima. So $1,000 is what Terry and I, Sora Saleh and I recommend as the bottom level of emergency savings. And for young people, that is really a good figure, because if something happens, you don't have to call mom or dad, or you don't have to call a friend. You'll be able to handle typical, ordinary situations. Of course, they're going to be situations that are more than $1,000, but it's a great start to have and a great goal to set for yourself. They just say my savings account is my rainy. Yes, exactly. And Soros LA calls it the comma club. So if you save $100 a month, which will be $25 a week, by the end of a year, you will be, well, at the end of 10 months, you will be in the comma club. So get your first comma. That's your first goal with savings. So savings accounts involve minimal risk. This means your money's going to grow because there's usually some interest associated with it. Currently, the average savings account interest rate is 0.41, which means a lot of them are less than 0.41. So if your money is in a savings account, I encourage you to look for a high yield savings account. Currently, high yield savings accounts, they pay anywhere from 3.75 to 4.5, and that's today's rates. So that makes a huge difference as to how much money your savings account will make in a year. So if we did simple math, which is definitely not simple math, if you saved $1,000 and put it in a high yield savings account at 4%, that would give you another $40 that you didn't have to work for. But of course, with compound interest, it's a little different. So savings account also provide capital for investing, and it's usually a lower annual interest rate than investing. Now, investing, which is a whole different ball game, is some more advanced tool. They're usually used for long-term goals, like retirement. That would be investing. A lot of people don't look at their retirement accounts as investment accounts, but those are actually the best accounts available to us right now. Most of the millionaires in the United States became millionaires by investing in their retirement accounts. It wasn't because they played ball. It wasn't because they became a background dancer for Beyonce. They became millionaires simply by investing in their retirement accounts, their employee-sponsored retirement accounts. That's most of the millionaires, about 61%. There's a longer way to access those funds when you invest, because it takes some effort to get them out of the accounts. And it involves buying an asset in hopes of earning a return. So what type of investments are you all familiar with? Put them in the chat. Stocks, yes. Stocks. Bonds, yes. Mutual funds, yes. Crypto, yes. All of those are great examples of real estate. Thank you. Roth IRA, those are retirement accounts. 401k, that's a retirement account. Yes, those are investment vehicles. Investing, unlike savings, always involves risk. However, the more risks, the more reward. So I'm going to give you all a bit of investing advice. How many of you have heard of the S&P 500? S&P 500 is 500 of some of the most powerful stocks in the American economy. And over the past, well, since its inception, the S&P 500 has returned about 10.31% every year. So imagine if you were putting in money at a consistent basis over the years, and you had it in an S&P 500 index fund, and you're receiving 10% or more, because last year it returned about 25%. When you go to use that money, you're going to have quite a chunk of change. So like, for instance, last year it returned about 25%. No, excuse me, 20%. So if you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500, by the end of the year, you had $1,200. That's just simple math. But that you want to make your money work for you. You don't want to work for your money for the rest of your life. Okay? If you don't remember anything I said, make your money work for you. It is your employee.
Sora Paz, what do you think
Mhm.
about Robinhood?
Actually, Robinhood has gotten a lot better. So Robinhood is an investment platform. It's a newer brokerage business account. Initially, Robinhood was really kind of shaky, and a lot of young people use it because it was so easy. I used it as well. I really liked Robinhood, but back in the day, you couldn't apply a beneficiary to the account. So if something happened to you, your Robinhood account was gone, never to be seen again. But now they've really amped up the app. It's only an app. But unlike more established brokerage firms like a Charles Schwab, which recently merged with TD Ameritrade, you have Fidelity. What's another one, Sally?
I used to use E-Trade.
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 E-Trade is another one. So I have Charles Schwab. The reason I like Charles Schwab, similar to Robinhood, you can buy stocks and mutual funds at zero cost. However, with Charles Schwab, there's a lot more education. You have access to an actual person. So I don't know how many of y'all have Robinhood? Okay, you have Robinhood. If something happens with Robinhood, most likely you're going to be talking to someone on an app versus talking to a person, which may be fine for you. So it's just a matter of preference. So I do like Robinhood. I don't use it anymore because my investing is a little different now. So young people, have you thought about your future self? This is me. I'm not quite there, but I'm close to retirement, but I'm not looking like her just yet. But you really, now is the time to start thinking about how you want to live when you retire. So you every day you wake up, you think about your past, your present, and your future all at the same time. Excuse my misspelling on here. That's just, oops, that should say retirement. I forgot my E. But this is this is not an all-inclusive list of retirement accounts. It's just some popular ones. So 401k. How many of y'all work? Just let me see. Can you all put up the hand icon? Does most of y'all work? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of workers here. So if you work for an employer, most likely you have access to a 401k. For government workers, it's a TSP. For other public servants, 403B. Additionally, there are IRAs, which are individual retirement accounts. There's a traditional and a Roth IRA. So I love Roth IRAs. Love them. Most of you all do not work. So unfortunately, you cannot contribute to an IRA. An IRA is, like I said, is an individual retirement account. And it is yours. It's not managed by there are employee-sponsored IRAs, but you can on Robinhood, you can open an IRA, or you can open up an IRA on Charles Schwab. IRAs are great because you are managing it if you choose, and you can take it wherever you go. And in these times, people are not really staying at jobs where you get a pension. So it's important that you create your own avenue and road to retirement. So an IRA is a really, really, really good way to do that. If you work, the Roth IRA is a great option for retirement and emergency saving. So the good thing about a Roth IRA is you can contribute, you can withdraw whatever you put into the IRA at any time. So the maximum for a younger person to contribute to an IRA is $7,000 a year. That has to be earned income, meaning you have to work. It can't be someone gave you some money, you can't put that into an IRA. And when you go to withdraw the money with the growth, you withdraw it tax-free. There is you can invest in whatever you want. So say if you want to buy stocks, you want to do real estate investments in REITs, you can buy index funds, mutual funds, whatever's offered to you by the brokerage company. However, you cannot make more than $165,000 a year. If you make more than $165,000 a year, then you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. So I would say, everyone, if you are eligible, open up a Roth, even if you put $10 in it today. The traditional IRA does not have any income limits. However, there is a maximum of $7,000 that you can put into it if you are under the age of 50. As far as 401ks, they have a high annual contribution limit. For young people, the maximum contribution is $23,500. And the great thing about 401ks, these are employer-sponsored programs. Most employers will offer a match for your 401k. So when you do get a job that offers a 401k, if you don't do anything else, contribute up to the match, because if you don't, you're giving away free money. Has anyone ever heard that? Don't give away free money. So make sure you contribute up to the match. What is someone saying here?
Yeah, you have a question in the chat.
If I have a Roth IRA today and my salary increases to the max, you don't want to roll. No, you never. Please, Delexis, where are you? Never roll, never roll your Roth IRA into a traditional IRA. So a traditional IRA creates a tax shelter, meaning it comes out, it's pre-tax money. So you get a tax break. It's like a tax shelter. Roth IRA is after tax money. So you've already paid taxes on it. So you wouldn't want to roll potentially tax-free money into a taxed account, but you can do it the opposite way. So once you maxed out the salary for a Roth IRA, what you can do is it's called a backdoor. So you will put that money in a traditional IRA, and then you'll slide it right over to your Roth IRA. Now you may have to pay a little bit of taxes on that money when you roll it over into your traditional IRA, but you technically you could do it in the same day. You really could do it in the same and not have to pay any taxes on it. So backdoor is moving from traditional into a Roth. So that's a way to keep your money tax-free when you withdraw it after 59 and a half. The other things with the Roth IRA, you have to have it open for at least 5 years. So you can't withdraw from it, even if you're 58 when you open it. You will have to wait until you're 63 to withdraw that money without a penalty. Does that make sense to you? All right. Do y'all have any questions about 401ks? This is a good chart. I didn't want to go over the whole thing, but
What do you
we can stay
suggest
here.
as the percentage that I should put so that I don't lose money or give away free money?
What up to the match? So most employers do, I know government and a lot of other employees do up to 5%. That seems to be the standard. So you're gonna contribute up to 5% of they'll match up to 5% of your salary usually, which adds up. It really adds up over the years. This is thousands of dollars that your employee will be putting in there for you.
And I would just add, because we're talking mostly to young adults, time is definitely on your side.
That one.
So the sooner you start, the better. I started putting money into my 401k when I was 24. That is many decades later for me right now, but I will tell you, my 401k balance is looking really good right now because I started at 24 and I never really touched it. I think I took a loan out to buy a house, but other than that, never touched it, and it's looking good right now.
And we actually have people on here. I'm looking at some people I know. They know who they are. And I'll just say me. I recently just hit $1 million in my retirement account, over $1 million. And that was just, I live as if I don't get a raise. So that's another tip. Every time you get a raise, if you can put more money into your investment account, your retirement account, do that until you max it out. Do that until you max it out. There is a couple online, I forgot their names, but they talk about FIRE. And it's a couple who retired in their 30s because they were so aggressive with saving. And that's what Saleh was talking about. Because you all are so young, you can do things that we can't. By starting early, compound interest is on your side. So you have the time. Like I think I have a slide about it before I get into it. Do I have a slide?
And you have a question in the chat also. What
Okay.
are your thoughts on financial companies that offer services surrounding benefits and retirement, such as Northwestern Mutual?
So I had Northwestern Mutual in my 20s, and from my understanding, I'm not a professional. I had insurance. As far as I know, they're an insurance company. And this is my personal opinion. Most of those people who work for insurance companies, they are really using your money to their benefit. They're getting paid off your money. So not that we don't want people to get paid, but you can learn to manage your money on your own. I would avoid getting financial advice from an insurance company because they would tell someone like Saleh or I, well, you need an annuity. They would tell me, I've had people tell me I need an annuity. Now, an annuity is when the insurance company takes lump sum of money, and in retirement, they'll give you a certain amount every month. And the reason it was a conflict, it made me think twice was because I'm going to get a pension. But for someone like Saleh, are you getting a pension, Saleh? Right. For someone like Saleh, an annuity is an appropriate vehicle. But for someone to tell me that, and I'm getting a pension, it makes me, walk away from that type of person. So be careful when talking to insurance companies about your retirement and what they're offering, because most of the time they're going to put you into some type of insurance vehicle. I would say consult a financial advisor if you want to talk about your retirement, and make sure you're asking the right question. Ask, how much do you get paid? If I do this, how are you getting paid? And they should want to tell you. They should want, if they don't tell you, run. Run.
That's good advice, Paz. Very good.
All right. So the credit game. It's so important that you all learn this game early, because I learned it later on, but I had a mama who had really good credit. She didn't even know how she had, all she knew was she paid her credit cards on time. That's all she knew. She didn't know the game, but now we have resources where we can learn the game. So here are our FICO scores. So anything over 750 is considered excellent. Over 700 is good. 650 is fair. 560 and above is bad. And then anything below 560 is just very bad. You have poor credit. Your credit is a representation of your word. It's your word, because companies are saying, we're going to give you this money and you are agreeing to pay it back on time with interest most of the time. So what is credit made up of? Payment history. Oh my goodness. 35% of your credit score is your payment history. So you cannot miss payments. How do we avoid missing payments? If you have, how many of y'all have credit cards, young people? Have you all started with credit yet? It's time. Justin, I'm gonna put you on one of my cards. It's time to get credit, because the earlier you start, the more credit history you have, the better your chances for having a higher credit score. So payment history is the number one thing. You want to pay your bills on time. And the way you do that is, we all have these apps for our credit cards now. Now they have a setting where you can go in and say, hey, I don't care what's going on, I am paying the minimum balance on this card every month. That's the least you can do with your credit. Of course, we want to strive towards paying off the statement balance every month. The statement balance. That doesn't mean you're going to pay it down to zero every month. It just means your statement balance will be paid, and you will not be charged any interest as long as you pay the statement balance. 30% is the amounts owed. So you never want to max out your cards. You want to keep the amount you owe under 30%, preferably under 10% for excellent credit. So if they give you, if a credit card company gives you a credit card with $1,000 balance, $1,000 limit, how much should you be spending? spending on that? What's the maximum you should spend on that card? Somebody just put it in the chat. Based on what I just said. So if they give you $1,000, there you go. Deja, $100 to $300, preferably $99, because that'll put you under 10%. But if you have to, $300, which is 30%. Once you start getting into 31 and up, your credit score starts to plummet. Your credit score starts to plummet. So length of credit history. Keep your oldest accounts open. So again, if you have someone who is responsible with credit, who you can turn to, maybe a parent or a family member, or even a really good friend who has really good credit, they can put you on their card as an authorized user. This will help out in all of these components of your FICO score. You want them to put you on a card that's at least 10 years old. 10 years old. But you will not use it. It will just be on your credit card. And please know, if someone extends you this grace of putting you on their credit card, you better be responsible with it. Because technically you could use it. So have integrity. Then they may extend you, this will help you out in the future. Be good to them, your credit score will be good to you. Type of credit used is only 10%. That means credit card accounts, mortgages, installment loans like a car loan. There are different type of credits credit that's available to you. And new credit is only 10%. Some people say don't open up too many accounts at one time. That's true, but you can open up 2 at a time. I would recommend no more than 2 at a time.
Dr. Paz, I want to mention some reasons why you want to keep your credit score high or as high as possible. Number one, you eventually may want to buy a car, a major purchase, a house.
You see the slide up there?
Real cost of bad credit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, some insurance companies, when you're applying for insurance, they will check your credit score. And some employers, when you're applying for jobs, they will check your credit. So it's important to keep your credit score as high as possible.
Absolutely. And honestly, bad credit costs a lot of money. Bad credit will cost you. If you look at this slide, person number 1 has a credit score of 590. They go in for an auto loan. Their interest rate is 11.86%. They pay $12,000 of interest on a $30,000 car. Person number 2 has a credit score of 720, which is excellent. They get 5.61% on that same car, and they end up paying almost $7,000 less in interest. Bad credit costs. Bad credit costs you big. And on the right-hand side, you'll see this is an example for a housing loan. You save a lot of money over the years when you have a high credit score. And really, like some of these scores, this person really shouldn't have a house at all. If you're not at 650 or above, I would really say 675 or above. You really should be working on your credit. And that's the truth. People say, well, you can they'll give you the money because they're getting the interest off you. But are you really responsible enough to own a home? Are you ready? And to me, the lower the credit score, the less ready you are. So tips to increase your credit score. 2 apps. Credit Karma, You should do it today if you don't have it. Then the Experian apps. You need to know your credit score. You need to know your credit score. Pay your bills on time. Make sure your regular recurring bills are paid automatically. Auto pay is your friend. That will prevent late fees. That will prevent dings on your credit report, because one missed payment can lower your credit score by sometimes it's 100 points. It's crazy. And it takes years for that to come off your credit score. So one missed payment could be the death of your credit score. Request increase to your credit limit. Don't apply for too many cards at once. Don't ever close an old credit card account. And also check for errors on your credit report. You can download a free copy of your credit report. Well, you can see them now on Credit Karma and Experian, but you're also you can pull your free credit report annually at annualcreditreport.com. Look at your credit report, because there are some fishy people around here who will use your name and steal your identity and put credit on your name, and you won't know it until you go to buy a home or do something, that requires credit. So it's important that you check those credit scores as often as possible. You can, with those apps, you technically can see your credit score every day, and it could change every day. So I'm going to turn it over to Saleh now. She's going to talk about buying your first home.
Thank you, Paz. And so for those of you that are thinking about buying your home, when it comes to credit scores, most lenders want to see a 640, at least a 640 credit score. So keep that number in mind if you're thinking about buying your first home. So what's the first thing you should do if you're thinking about buying a house? The very first thing you should do is to contact a lender, or contact your bank, or contact your credit union, and ask them if they can do a pre-qualification for you to let you know how much you think you will be able to afford with purchasing a home. And you should start thinking about doing this probably 18 months to 24 months, unless you already have money saved up for a home. But it's usually going to take you sometime between 12 to 24 months to save up enough money to buy a home. So how much? How much should I be saving if I want to buy a home? Well, the lender is going to first tell you based on your income. If you, for instance, make $70,000 a year, depending on your credit score, depending on interest rates, you could probably afford to buy up to a $350,000 or $360,000 house. And you can still do that. You can still find affordable homes in certain areas in the DMV area at that price. And some of you may make a lot more than 70, which you would be able to buy even more of a home, 400,000 or more. But I want you to start 18 to 24 months before the purchase. Start saving your money. Paz just talked about budgeting. Start pulling some money out, carving some money out of your budget, freeing up money, and put that in a separate savings account just for your home. If you buy a $400,000 home, there are lots of first-time home buyer programs in the DMV where you may only have to put 3 to 5% down. You can get an FHA loan. If you're a former military or currently in the military, there are VA loans. There are lots of home buyer programs out there in DC. DC has their HPAP, Home Purchase Program. In Maryland, there's the MMP, Maryland Mortgage Program. And all of these are designed to help first-time home buyers get into a home with little to no money down. They'll help you with a down payment and with closing costs. But the first step is contacting the lender. The lender will give you all of that information to help you. You also want to start early because you have to get your credit score up. So it may take you 12 to 18 months just to get your credit score above 640. And as Paz said, the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rate, and that means the more house you can afford. If you're paying less in interest, you could be paying more in principal, so you might be able to afford to buy a $400,000 home instead of a $350,000 home. What I also want you to do is just put some money in an emergency savings account, because there are going to be some out-of-pocket costs that you're going to incur when you purchase the home. You're going to have to get an appraisal. You're going to have to get an inspection. There might be some small closing costs. So all of those things you might want to have saved up in your emergency savings or just a separate savings account to cover those costs for a home. How many people are interested in buying a home in the next 12 to 18 months? Anybody? Not ready yet? Okay. Well, when you are ready, you can definitely give me a call and I can put you in contact with lenders, or you can call Dr. Paz and she can put you in contact with lenders, because the first thing you want to do is find out how much you can afford based on your salary, your income, and your credit situation. Housing costs. After you get in the home, Paz wanted me to make sure she told you that I tell you about all of the maintenance that comes with owning a home. There are a lot of things that come with owning a home that we don't think about. The HVAC system, your heating, especially now when it's like 18 degrees, and then your cooling systems, there's a lot of costs associated with that. If you buy an older home, you have to replace the roof. You got to do landscaping on the home, exterior paint or replacing siding, appliances, replacing appliances. There's lots of hidden costs that people don't think about when they buy a home. It should definitely not discourage you from getting into a home or purchasing a home, but we want to make sure that you are ready when you do purchase a home, that you've thought about all of the costs associated with the home. There are many benefits to owning a home: equity in the home, building wealth, having a sense of community, lots of benefits. So I always encourage you, if you're already paying $3,000 a month in rent, I would probably say, okay, in the next 18 months, we should probably purchase something. Because if you can afford to pay $2,000, $3,000 a month in rent, we can afford to get you in a home, and your mortgage would be $2,000 to $3,000. And that way you actually own something instead of just renting. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know we're almost out of time. But did anybody have any questions about home ownership, buying a home? If not, give me a call. You know where to reach me and Dr. Paz. Thanks, Paz.
So we're done. We're open to any questions you have. I know it was a quick and dirty. We touched a lot of subjects in a short period of time. We actually I could have spoken an hour on each of them. So yes, we're open to any questions you may have. I think Michelle, is your hand up?
Yes, question on with regards to having lenders kind of look at your credit and identify, your affordability level for a home. Is that a ding on your credit report, or are they able to look at it without it being flagged as, somebody's looking into my
There's a 90-day period, Michelle, during which, when they know that you are going to different lenders and shopping around different lenders, that it's not going to be a ding on your credit. And I always encourage people to talk with at least 3 lenders, a credit union, your own bank, and then maybe just a home mortgage lender, so you can get competitive rates.
Right. Any questions about credit, retirement accounts, budgeting?
Somebody had a question, any tips for paying off debt if you are in debt? Do you want to address that?
Yes. Are we talking about credit card debt, Carla?
She said yes.
Yes. So, my personal, way of attacking debt is to attack the cards with the highest interest rate. Because if you're gonna be paying more for that debt in the long run. So you start off paying, the minimum on all the rest of your depending on how many cards you have. Say you have 5 cards. You're gonna take the one with the highest interest rate. You're gonna have to do your budget to see how much over the minimum payment due you can afford to pay on this card. Because the minimum balance, if you all look at your credit card statement, the minimum payment, it takes you years to pay down those credit cards. So I would start there. You can also, if your credit is decent, many of us sometimes get these 0 balance transfer offers. So that's another method of paying down with the least amount of interest. So once you have paid off the card with the highest interest rate, then you take however much you are paying on that card, and then you apply that to the next card. It's called the snowball effect. And then you do that until you get rid of the credit. The other thing you can do, which it may not be available, but you can get a personal loan with someone in your family. You know, if someone's willing to help you and say, hey, I'm in $6,000 of credit card debt. Can I pay you 10% versus paying them 30%? That is a viable way of paying down debt and also making it a win-win. But again, this is your integrity on the line. So if you borrow money, you need to pay it back. You need to pay it back. So if you have someone you can make a personal loan with, that's really one of the best ways, because that way that'll free up your credit, and that will be an instant boost in your credit, because then your debt to available credit ratio will drop tremendously and put you into the excellent range. So those are two.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 more
Those are 2 ways.
questions.
Okay.
Question is about, do you recommend a secured credit card if you're trying to build credit?
Sure.
Yes.
If that's all you can get, yes. And again, I pray that everyone has a family member with good credit who loves you very much, who is willing to support you.
Her name is Dr. Paz. She is on our line. We can call Dr. Paz.
Somebody has an aunt or an uncle with really good credit who
He'll
can
take
put
your
you on.
10% interest. Yes.
Right.
The next question is student loans. Suggestions on how to pay off student loans.
I will tell you this. Pay them on time. Do not default. That is the worst debt you can have. It's a great debt because it got you through school, but do not default on a student loan. If they have a program where you can they have income-based programs that you can get into where you can pay how much you can afford. If you're having difficulty paying those student loans off, talk to them. They will work with you. Do not hesitate to call your student loan lender. They have programs to support you. They just want you to pay them back. They'll work with you on how they get it, but do not ignore it, which is what a lot of people do. That is the worst thing you can do. Student loan debt is death to your credit score. So do not default. Pick up the phone and call your lender and set up and get in a program.
And
Because
also I would add, Paz, consolidate. Sometimes you are offered the offer to consolidate your loans, and then you only are paying one company, and you're usually paying at a much lower rate than if you were paying the 5 cards or 5 debts separately. So consider a consolidation loan. It's for a lot of people, it's less stressful when you just have to pay that one consolidated bill. And I've seen people consolidate their student loans that way.
Yes, I did that as well. Is there another question? Any more questions?
I think that was everything that was in the chat.
Okay, so there's a QR code on this slide. Please fill out the survey. It should take you no more than 2 minutes to do it. If you'd like to reach out to me or Saleh, our email addresses are here. We hope that we enlighten you with a little information. We will have additional Boss Money programs. This April during Financial Literacy Month, we are actually focusing on investing. So I encourage you all
That's
to
happening
join us.
April 26th. Put it on your
April
calendar.
26th. Please join us when we talk about investing, where we'll go more in depth on retirement accounts, investing in brokerage accounts, that type of thing. We may discuss a little bit about trading, crypto, that type of thing. So please join. Education is key to financial success. And starting early, again, God bless all y'all for being young, because I'm telling you, it makes such a huge difference in your financial future the earlier you start. So start, if you haven't started, start today. Start with $10. Anything. If you need advice on where to put it, call me. And that's all we have. So thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate you and good night.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night. Good
Love you
night.
too, boss.
Thank
Love you too,
you.
boss.
You too. I'm about to call you, Justin.
All right.
All right.
Justin, get that loan.
Hey, Janelle.
Hi, Janelle. Hi, Terry.
Well, you know what? I wish we had a game. Next year, I want to do a game.
Yeah, let me stop recording.